Today we're going to be talking about how to perfectly optimize your e-commerce category pages for SEO so that they rank at the top of the SERPs. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Before you get started, make sure to click the notification bell and make sure to subscribe so that you can get more videos like this in the future. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is that in the actual search engines, they only show the title, description, images, dates, site links, subcategories, and sometimes they pull out certain elements in the subcategories like men or women when they are displaying the actual HTML listing for an e-commerce category inside of the Google search engine. So these are the things that you need to know. So this is really important, right? Your title, your description, the images that get pulled out, you want to be really deliberate with this. For a title, the main thing you want to do is a dynamic title for your search engine optimization for e-commerce category pages. This means you're going to have 1 to 4 keywords. You're going to put in things like the number of products, the number of reviews, the date, anything that's a key differentiator. A lot of times you'll see best in there. A lot of times you'll see top in there. You'll see specific details or words that are important for the user to want to have a click through. You'll have the same thing for the description. So it's very important that you make sure you have dynamic optimization for titles and descriptions. The images that are pulled out in the SERPs, they actually just come specifically from the e-commerce category page. And we're going to get into that in a second. The site links are generated by the links that are below that main page, so in the sub navigation, that have the most authority, and that's usually because of external linking or internal linking that points to those and shows how powerful those pages are. And then these subcategories are the same thing. They get pulled out generally by what Google thinks is going to be the most important, and these are very important deviations in a top level category when you're looking at an e-commerce page. Quick note, e-commerce level categories, you can really optimize them 7 to 8 levels deep, depending on how many different deviations make sense from a keyword format. Many sites will stop at level 2 or 3, but you can really push it all the way to 7. But in most cases, around the 4 or 5 mark is where the sweet spot is. Now let's get into the general optimization on the page level. What does that look like? Well, first, you have this. These are called breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are going to show you how far off you are from the main homepage. This would be the homepage. This would be, step 1, step 2. And inside of this, you want to have anchor text with the primary keyword. What's the primary keyword? That's the main keyword that's the most important that you want the page to rank for. For example, it might be men's motorcycle boots. So men's motorcycle boots, for example, would be what that actual breadcrumb is right there. It's an internal hyperlink. It is incredibly powerful and it reinforces the keyword. You're also going to have an H1, so a heading with the keyword in it, and then you will, in some cases, have an H2, and then a little bit of copy. Now, this copy right here will have the keywords in it, and in some cases, you'll see e-commerce sites that not only have copy on the top for the category pages, but they also have copy lower on the web page as well. Now, what you want to watch out for is you don't want to tip the scales to the point where Google starts thinking this is an article. It's not an article. It's an e-commerce category page. Google knows the difference in intent between the two, and so you don't want to confuse the search engine. Now, as we get a little bit further down, as you get into the middle right here, you start seeing the actual products, right? And the number of products is really important. You have a kind of balancing act here. You don't want to have too many where the page speed gets really slow, and you don't want to have too few where it doesn't show that it's unique and that you have the inventory that the search engine and the user is looking for. I've seen in general about 30 products is a pretty good amount. And in addition to that, you've got this text underneath each one of the products. So a little excerpt. If you can, the best thing you can do is actually have this be unique text with a keyword in it about every 3 products. So about every 3 products you have a keyword in it so it doesn't get too spammy. If you have it in every single one, it can be a little bit too much. But by having a keyword in this text and by having unique text, you're actually creating unique content on the page for 30 different products. And based off of doing that, it makes it so that the page can rank really, really well. Now, in some cases, you will not have a content management system that's going to allow you to create unique text there. That's okay. If you can, you might want to try to do the dynamic keyword insertion. We're actually inserting the keyword into these product descriptions, or you have it above the product. But even if you can't do that, just when you're writing your general product descriptions, make sure that you're using the keyword in the first couple sentences. You should be doing that anyways, so that gets pulled out inside the category. Okay, so now we talked about the site links, we've talked about the H1, we've talked about the copy, we've talked about the number of products that you want to have on the page. You also want to have up here an optimized image, and that optimized image will have an optimized file name, it will have an optimized alt text and an optimized caption around it with the primary keyword of the page. For example, men's motorcycle boots again, right? And if possible, all of these images here should also be optimized, but for the product name, not for the primary keyword. The product name is going to align with that overall keyword for the main category page. As we get a little bit further down, we start seeing pagination. Now, pagination is something that's very, very important for an e-commerce category page. And in the past, there used to be something called rel next, rel prev. Google doesn't look at that anymore. That was something that would connect all the pages together. Now, the best thing you can do is either no index all the other pages so Google doesn't pick it up, or have a rel canonical just pointing back to the main page. But the main thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that the search engine knows that there is one main page that you want to have ranking, and you don't care about all those other pages. You want to push all the authority of all those other pages to the main one page, and a rel canonical is an awesome way to do that. As we get a little bit further down, you're going to see links down here in a footer. And a footer is a really important thing for an e-commerce category page, because the footer allows you to put in a sub-menu of links that align with the content here. So if it's men's motorcycle boots, for example, you might have a series of brands that are associated with it. You might have a series of sizes, colors, and different types of deviations that would align with that. In addition to that, in the footer, you're going to want to put related categories that are very similar to that as well. And then in the side navigation here, this is going to create subcategories under your main category right here. This would be your main category for men's motorcycle boots, for example. All of this stuff really important. So now you've got this beautiful category, but what could you do if you really wanted to get even more advanced and trick it out more? Here's a couple things that you could look at. Filters. On a lot of these pages, you'll have filters. So price from low to high, right? Or different colors, sorting different colors and things like that. You really need to watch out for these filters, because if you don't no index all the different deviations, then it can create a tremendous amount of duplicate content. That duplicate content creates a major issue. Google starts ranking the wrong pages, and you come out with millions of URLs on your website. It's a total mess. So watch out for that. Also, internal links. You want to make sure that all the other pages on your website reference this main page as your men's motorcycle boots page. That's going to push a lot of authority to this page. Then we get into this, FAQs, blogs, videos. What do I mean by that? Well, if you really want to get more advanced and you want to show more credibility, one of the ways you can do that is by building this page into a hub. So what you can do is you can have modules for all your blog posts on a topic, a module for all your videos on the topic, a module for all your photos on the topic, a module for all the most common FAQs on the categories. What are all the things that people are asking around this topic? And there's some great tools out there that allow you to find all of these questions and then answer them. So these modules can be really powerful and give you a competitive advantage. They also make the page very linkable. So it gives people in websites a reason to link to the page if you have some quality content that's listed on there, and if you make it the main hub for the topic. In addition to that, page speed is something you really need to look at. You want to make sure you have a great score. You want to make sure it passes the core web vitals. And if you want to go a little bit nuts on schema, you can put business schema or local schema on these pages if you do it correctly. That being said, most of the schema that you're going to put on an e-commerce site is actually going to go on the product details page. That's going to be the place where you're going to be able to list things like free shipping and pricing and different types of specifications. So that's it for how to optimize an e-commerce category page for SEO. There's certainly more that we could go into here, but that should give you a really great foundation. The most important thing to keep in mind is no duplicate content, no weird filters. You want to make sure you have a fantastic dynamic optimization, 100% unique copy. If you can put those excerpts in there that are unique with dynamic keyword insertion. You want to watch out for that pagination, and if you can, build up a hub of content so that you can use that for your external linking outreach. But in addition to that, just add even more value to the users on the page. I hope you like this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.